So Jeff Dunham joins us right now, of course, and he's got a brand new 1 hour Comedy Central stand-up special coming up. Your comedy, I sit with my kids and watch your YouTubes all the time on your YouTube channel, and it really is great stuff. Do you hear that a lot? Is it because you're family friendly and because your comedy sort of involves the fun, Peanut and everybody?
Well, you say family friendly. People ask me that, they say, is it family friendly? And my answer is, well, it depends on your family. So,
and now you know a lot about my family.
That's right.
Exactly. So it's PG-13, all that kind of thing. But what's interesting is when you come to my show, you really can't put your finger on the demographic of who is there because it's all over the place. There's old people, young people, teenagers, adults. You can't figure it out. And kids too, just because of what it is. Yeah. But I think the reason people keep coming back is because it's not because I don't move my lips. It's because they love the characters, they love the comedy, and they love the relationships and the conflict on stage and everything that builds comedy. And I think that's why my little 15 minutes of fame has gone beyond what anybody expected it to, and because I just keep giving the audience hopefully what they want.
All right, I've always wanted to ask this question of someone who does what you do. I mean, obviously, to develop this skill takes a lot of time. And sitting in front of a mirror, working and working and working and working. I mean, tell me about
You make it sound kind of sad.
Tell me about your wasted youth.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, do you remember the show PM Magazine?
Yeah,
remember that?
Right.
Yeah. Well, Dallas had its own PM Magazine, and a buddy of mine made fun of me because they said, well, let's get you practicing. And I thought, oh, okay, no problem. And I didn't even think twice about it. I was in high school, and I would go where I practiced. So there I was in the bathroom with the toilet and the shower and the bathtub, sitting on a stool in front of the mirror with a doll.
Oh, man. That's an image.
And I bet the chicks didn't flock to you then, did they?
No, that kind of killed it for a couple of years after that.
Jeff Dunham's our guest. His new special, Jeff Dunham, All Over the Map. It's going to be Sunday, November 16th on Comedy Central. And, Chris Rock was just on Saturday Night Live, Jeff Dunham, and he got under a little bit of criticism for making jokes about 9/11. And, listen, comedy is comedy, and I think if it's funny, it's funny. You've been making jokes about terrorism through Ahmed, the dead terrorist, who, all he has to do is bug his eyes out and raise his eyebrows, and I start laughing.
It is a fine line to be able to joke about what's okay to joke about. You get a few eyebrows raised, you tick off a certain percentage of people, but whatever those 2 or 3% of people are getting ticked off at is what the other 97% are laughing hardest at.
Yeah.
So it is that fine line of having been on stage long enough and kind of learning to read the pulse of the crowd and what can you get away with, what's that audience. And, but you're right. When a year after, to me, there's nothing funny about 9/11, won't be. Even Titanic jokes or Lincoln jokes are a little iffy at this point. You know what I mean?
Too soon, yeah.
But what I did when it was a year after 9/11, and I thought, nothing funny about 9/11, but Letterman and Leno were already making fun of Osama bin Laden and the terrorists and the idiots that did it. So I thought, well, I know where Osama is. He's dead, and he's in my suitcase, and he's hanging out with my other guys hiding. Right. So I created the first iteration of Ahmed the Dead Terrorist, who's actually the dead Osama. And I imagined if I'm going to do this, if there was direct family members of people that were killed in 9/11, what can I joke about? What would they be okay with? What would they laugh at? And I wrote the jokes, and then I tested it as the best place I could, and I did it at a comedy club that was literally 8 miles from Ground Zero, just outside of New York. And it was an amazing show, and it just went on from there. And then later, a couple years later, I thought if we find Osama or kill him, my act's going to be dated. So instead of offending one guy, I'll offend a whole group of dangerous people, and I came up with Ahmed the Dead Terrorist.
All right, so have you ever lost your little friends? I mean, I would imagine moving from city to city to city, at some point you've lost them, haven't you?
Well, it was in the early days when I was in college, and I trusted the airlines. You check things, they show up, right? I didn't know. I didn't travel very much. And I was actually traveling from Waco, Texas, where I was in college, to Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, to open for George Burns at their Parents' Weekend, right?
Wow.
Thousands of people, and the dummies disappeared. Didn't make the cut. So there just happens to be a ventriloquist museum in Fort Mitchell, Kentucky, right not far from Miami University.
You've got to
So
be
I'm a
kidding.
board member of the museum. Showed up there in the middle of the afternoon on a Sunday. We got they let me borrow like 4 dummies, and I did the entire show with somebody, antique dummies and whatever.
Oh man, Jeff Dunham, listen. I know Walter is beloved and Peanut, but I keep going back to Ahmed. I know that you travel the world. Have you ever had to sort of watch Ahmed the Dead Terrorist routine and make sure that he is careful with what he says when you're traveling into some of those nations that might not be so?
It is amazing because on this tour, the thing that's on Sunday and the DVD coming out all over the map, we didn't do just English-speaking countries. We did and all these shows were 4,000 to 5,000 to 10,000 people. They were huge shows, and we did shows in places like Iceland and then Norway, South Africa, Australia. Those are all English-speaking, but we also did shows in Malaysia and Singapore. But the craziest thing to me was I ended up in Abu Dhabi, a Muslim Arab country, doing shows with Ahmed the Dead Terrorist.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. It was a homecoming. They thought he was the greatest thing ever. But then the craziest part was 2 days later, I'm in the middle of Tel Aviv, Israel, in front of 5,000 Jewish people doing the exact same show. So,
that's fantastic. And both audiences thought it was hilarious. Yeah.
Absolutely. And to me, what I took from that and what I say in my live show now is that I truly believe that most of us on this planet are good people, and we all have the same concerns, which means we can all joke about and laugh about the same things, which is, general themes, marriage and kids and food and shelter and all that kind of stuff, and being afraid of terrorism. So we all laugh at the same stuff, and I truly believe that there's just a handful of idiots that cause all the other crap. That's my...
Well, that's a great note to end this on. Jeff Dunham, again, his special is this Sunday, the 16th, on Comedy Central, and then the DVD is going to be out. Jeff Dunham all over the map. Oh, wow, you're going to be taking up residence at Planet Hollywood in Vegas. That is very cool.
And Britney Spears is right next door in the same casino, different theaters. And what's ironic is both shows, the lip syncing will be slightly off.
and just out of curiosity, does Ahmed have a message for the Washington audience?
A message for the Washington audience. Yeah, Ahmed. Greetings, infidels! It is I, Ahmed. I would like to say to the people of Washington, I am so sorry about the election. I feel so sorry for Obama. The loss was so bad for Democrats. I thought Ryan Seacrest was going to come out and show Obama a highlight reel of his time in office before sending him home. But Obama, his name sounds like everything terrible, doesn't it? Obama, Ebola, Obama, Osama. It would be like if Bill Clinton's name was Clerpies,
All righty. Thank you, Ahmed. It's good to talk to you. I'm surprised he didn't say he was going to kill us. He didn't say...
I'll kill you later.
There it is. Thank you, Jeff Dunham. All
Thanks,
right.
guys.